Hi, this is Veronica with God Given Nutrition, and as you can see, I have made a colossal pot of bone broth. And I wanted to show you just how easy it is to do this yourself and at home. There really is no need for you to go out and buy pre-made stuff. I think it's extremely expensive, and you can make your own for really just pennies. Now, the first thing that I did was I had taken my bones, and they were cold bones, and I had placed them in a bowl. I had a couple bowls because my bone broth is a combination of chicken bones and beef bones. So I put the bones in a bowl such as this, and I covered it with about 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. And then I filled it up with water, and I let the bones sit for about an hour before I used them in my before I started making the bone broth. Now, there are some people that say you should roast your bones on a low temperature for about an hour prior to cooking them up in a bone broth. This is to add flavor. It really doesn't add much to the nutrition. So what I did was I skipped that part of it. I have made some really good bone broths that are very gelatin without roasting. And so I just wanted to show you what we have here. And as you can see, it's not very pretty. Everything's cooked up. This has been simmering for about 24 hours. And what I did was I had put the bones in here with the apple cider vinegar that was in the bowls, and then I filled it up and I added other ingredients. Now, my ingredients are just kitchen scraps, so if you are, cutting up some parsley and you have all the stems left, I would put those in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. The stems from things such as shiitake mushrooms and just anything that's left over, including onion skins, which I have here. Actually, the first layer of the onion and the onion skins contain the most nutrients, and so, instead of throwing those out, use them in your bone broths. You're going to strain this anyway. Another thing that I love to use is astragalus. They call it astragalus root, but it's really a bark. And this is used in a lot of Asian preparations, and it's used really as a immune booster. There are several benefits to using astragalus, but the best thing about it, and the reason why I like to use it in soups, is because the more that it simmers, the more of the nutrients are pulled out of the astragalus bark. So it's perfect application for soups. We also make a tea out of it too, which is really good for when anybody's sick in the family. But it's really good and really simple to just throw it in your soup. So I just wanted to show you too, also in here, you can see the beef, you can see the bones. And as you can see here, this bone right here has a lot of fatty tissue there. And this is where you get your gelatin from. Gelatin is really a healthy component of the bones. This bone broth is finished. I'm going to strain it, but I'm going to take these bones and I'm going to put them back in my crock pot, fill it up with water, and I'm going to let that sit for another 24 hours. And I can probably get a good 2 batches at least out of these bones. Another thing that I have used, that I actually got the idea from Dr. Pompa, was to put in seaweed, just a little bit of seaweed. If you can see it here, this is seaweed, and you don't need very much of it, but what happens is the iodine is pulled out of this, and it is in the broth, and it's very, very good for you, and it just adds a healthier benefit to your bone broth. So as you can see here, also I have chicken bones, lots and lots of chicken bones. You know, we eat a lot of chicken drumsticks, and those have some benefits to them as well. You can save the chicken drumsticks. A lot of times what I do is I will cut the meat from the chicken drumsticks, because that is dark meat and it's very healthy, and there's a chemical in that meat that you can't get anywhere else. And so I really love to do that, and then I can use that meat in stir fries. It does take a little bit of time to do that. However, I just think it's worth it, and I definitely have the time as somebody who stays at home and who really enjoys cooking. So this is the bone broth. We're going to, again, just strain everything off, and then I will put them in mason jars. And I will fill the mason jars probably a little more than halfway. If you use a wide mouth mason jar, that's best. You fill them up a little bit more than halfway. Once this is cooled down completely, you can put it in your freezer, and I have not had any problems with breakage. So it's a great way to store your beef bone broth without having to worry about plastics and things like that. So this is God-given nutrition, and this is beef and chicken bone broth.